All right, I'm gonna give you three stocks right now that are going to be prime time shorts, man, during a recession. Okay, now this is only during a recession. Obviously, a lot of these stocks go a lot higher, especially during my time frame where I think the market might top out. But when the market does go into a recession, man, when it does, I believe these three stocks will print millions. Okay, they will print so much money for the person that is able to get into them. Okay, nobody knows when there will be a recession. Okay, we kind of got to play it time. We kind of got to play it play by play. Okay, I will say that we're usually on top of stuff like this. Do I think the top is in? Not yet. But we had some of the best longs that you could have gotten. I mean, we've really been bullish for a while, but you could have got into some Robin Hood calls, back when this was $36, and we called it out. We told you to get the August 15th 50s. Okay. So I'm just here to tell you, we're on point when it comes to finding the best stocks to get into. Okay. We just are. Okay. Disney calls, Apple, SoFi. We told you to get some SoFi back when this was $13, the September 15th. 15s. You're still making money on these, okay? So I say all this to say CLSK, MP is nasty. This thing was $32. You go look at it now. It's at this green price target. It's only been a week. And we got the October 17th 45. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, man. The stocks that are on this list are going to be prime time shorts. Prime time. Okay? All right. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first one is Adobe. Adobe. And some of you guys are like, bro, no way. They got AI. They're front running in a lot of the AI. But the real answer to that is no, they aren't, man. No, they aren't. Now, a lot of people already know this, like Wall Street, and a lot of people already know this. Their Adobe rating lowered to sell, and they blame Midjourney and the wave of new AI tools. Okay, and that'll be the thesis for Adobe's downfall overall. Okay, the generative artificial intelligence is eroding the company's moat. With the rise of AI, these tools that Adobe has now made become a lot cheaper to make. Okay, a lot cheaper. You don't need a $60 subscription to Adobe to play around on Illustrator. Okay, you can now find a way cheaper tool. Somebody's making it right now. Okay, so analysts are rating to sell from neutral, and the price targets to 280 from 420. Okay, they're almost a $200 price target cut. Insane. Okay, and I think it's going to get a lot worse. We're going to look at the chart here soon, and we also got a couple others that we want to look at. But Adobe's moat is being eroded by tools including Sora, which is Google's. Google is if you want to get into anything, make sure you get into Google. Google is literally about to take over. They're about to become a monopoly. But they have VO, Imagine, Runway, and Midjourney, the analysts say. Those now dominate what he calls the ideation phase of content creation. Okay. In this context, we think that to say Adobe faces significant AI disruption is not a controversial statement, because it's not. And by 2026, he expects new generative AI tools to create fully editable, multi-layered images and videos. And by 2027, this will be done using conversational user interfaces, to where I don't need to go on Adobe and know how to do Photoshop. I can voice what I want to happen. It put Obama on planet Jupiter with holding up three fingers, and it'll make something that looks exactly like that. And then add stars flowing by. You understand? You understand? I don't need to know how to use Adobe. So what's the point of paying those huge subscription fees for Adobe, right? And even if you look at some of the charts, like we can look at a chart, and of course, Adobe has been doing incredible over, the past however long. Okay, it's been doing absolutely amazing. Why is this? It's been doing absolutely amazing. Okay, we come over here to the chart and we look at the monthly frame on it, and this has been doing amazing since 1987. Okay, Since 1987, this thing has been on an absolute tear. Adobe's been great. But coming into, AI, which I would really say AI really started coming in, maybe 2021, 2022 is really, it's really been, here for some time now, but it's really started being talked about, these past couple years. And what you have now is Adobe not even rising with the market. We've been in a bull market for the past 2-3 years, and Adobe has actually been in a decline, making lower highs. Okay, this is going to end up going much lower. You'll probably see this in the single digits. Okay, this is a $155 billion stock that is going to be trading much lower than that. And to be honest, you could probably get away with shorting it today. You really could. This thing is showing huge weakness, and Adobe is definitely one of the best shorts to get into in these next 5 years, maybe even year or two. Okay, I really think Adobe is gonna. They're done. They're not done. They're still gonna be Adobe, but it's not gonna be the Adobe that you once knew when this was a $600 stock. Almost $500 billion type company. It's just not that anymore. AI is definitely gonna eat their lunch. Okay, so anyways, let's move on to the next stock, and the next stock is. You guys might be surprised by this one because we've been so bullish on this stock since it was around $30. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly why this stock is not what it's just not. Of course, I anticipate this stock to get to 600 plus. I think it's gonna be very bullish in the short term. I think Bitcoin continues to rise, etc. But this may be very surprising to you guys that this is gonna end up going much lower than this. Okay, much lower when the market finally does go into a recession for a couple of reasons that I'll explain. Well, one is that Bitcoin has actually never seen a long recession. Okay, it's actually never seen, the tightening of money and people, not putting their money into risk assets. It's actually never seen that. Some people say COVID, but no, like COVID lasted for like a month, and then money was printed heavily. Okay, and 2022 wasn't even like a bear market. That was nothing. Okay, that was just a correction from 2022, and now you're seeing the later end, or 2020, and now you're seeing the later end of 2020 happening right now with all that money printed. So crypto has never seen a long recession. Okay, but the good news, I will say, the good news is that the average length of a recession has declined over centuries. So even if MSTR does fall, and it will fall, very fast because it rolls very fast. It won't see, you can probably get a great dip buy on it when it does happen, because I think MSTR is bullish in the long run. But in the short term, in the next, when the recession hits, this is going to be an amazing short. But Viator Blackworks, he expects crypto to move just like it did during the 2020 COVID crash, implode along with the rest of the world come recession as liquidity vanishes in the cascade of margin calls. Okay, so when liquidity dries up, do you really think people are going to be taking their money out of? What do you think they're going to be taking their money out of first? What do you think people are going to be taking their money out of first? Hershey, or Coca-Cola, or a high risk asset like MSTR, which rises quickly, dies quickly, rises quicker, etc. The question is MSTR. And you have to remember, when we were telling you to buy this, back when it was around $20, $30, and now you see it 10x, to 400 plus. This is where it should be trading at when the recession hits. Now, I'm not going to give you price targets yet because I got to see this top out, but this will be a generational type of short. Okay, this thing's never been in a bear market. It's never been in a bear market. Not a bear market, a recession. Okay, it's never been in a recession. Okay, so this is probably one of my prime shorts that I'm going to be looking at. I think it's going to be an amazing short, and I'm going to be paying attention to it. Okay, the next one is Tesla. Okay, Tesla is very simple. Now, a stock that rises quickly dies quickly. Okay, and very simply, Musk diving deeper into politics and now trying to take on the Beltway establishment is exactly the opposite direction that Tesla investors, shareholders want him to take during the crucial period for a Tesla story. Okay, now Tesla, I'm sure you guys remember, man. Tesla's back in 2020, 2021, man. It was the hottest commodity. You see somebody at Tesla, you're like, whoa, it's a Tesla. Not anymore, huh? Not anymore. You don't really say that anymore. You don't say that anymore because a lot of people now own Teslas. A lot of people have Teslas. Tesla's just not what it was 2-3 years ago. And the reason being is because Tesla has ran up on a lot of competition. Okay, Tesla had the first mover advantage, but as that advantage deters, as it slows down, you now have to then rely on your Tesla performing and being competitive with the other EVs that are going to come to market. And it's hard to compete against a Cadillac. It's hard to compete against a Toyota, man. It's hard to compete when these people have been in automaking for decades. Okay, so they know a lot more than Tesla knows. And I mean, Google, and you could say like, yeah, Tesla has the robo taxis and robots coming out, et cetera, which I believe, that will be bullish in the long term. But like I said, when a recession hits, which I think that stuff won't be out just yet, I think that stuff comes later, then yeah, Tesla will be bullish. But until then, man, you have Google, Waymo, which is Google's, has the definitive plans to expand its service to Miami, Washington, D.C. next year in partnership with Uber. Okay, so a lot of robo taxis, they're already coming. Okay, competition is coming into the market. Tesla's not a first mover. Okay, matter of fact, their global sales were down a record 13% in each of the first 2 quarters of this year compared to a year earlier. Okay, and Tesla's even declining in market share. Okay. And part of the lost EV market share is due to increased competition, like I just said. So when you look at Tesla, and yes, Tesla's name brand is there, okay? But as competition enters into the market and demand weakens further with the tax credit not being there anymore, and it's expiring, due to the big bill or whatever you had, then yeah, man, So you look at a chart, I do think Tesla can rise to, around 600. I think Tesla can move a lot higher, but come a recession, you got to be careful. And I think this is going to end up being an amazing short come whenever the recession is. Okay. So those are my top 3 shorts. Now, if you want to get into a lot of these shorts that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be looking at them. We're going to be looking at them, when the market shifts a little bit, or we'll be there. We'll be there, okay? Like MP, like you look at MP, this person turned $165 in 2000 almost, based off of us getting into MP early, and now MP going to end up pulling a PLTR type move, okay? This is going to end up pulling a PLTR type move. It's already at all-time highs. We got in down here, but these stocks are plentiful right now. They're plentiful.